Hello YouTube, and welcome to a slightly different video today. I'm a little bit late out because everybody else has probably already produced videos on the Anderson DLC, but I was away, real life, work, all that getting in the way, but I thought I would still put together a little video of trying out some of the different components of this DLC because they look really interesting. So, in order to do that, obviously, we need a stack of bales. I had thought about just simply buying some bales and calling it a day, but I thought I might as well quickly cut some grass here. So I'm on the map called Brook because it rather conveniently had a large grass field very close to the dealership. So that means we can use this field for our testing and experimentation. And just to start with, I'm just gonna get quite a few swaths and bales cut here. Then we can try out the bale collectors. I'll make some round and some square bales. We'll try both the bale collectors, and then afterwards we are going to try and wrap them with the new bale wrappers that can sort of make a full length of silage bales instead, which I think is a really interesting concept, especially now that we have much more freedom to shape the farms and build them with the buildings that we want. I can see how not having a giant silage pit sitting somewhere, but instead keeping rows of silage bales perhaps along the edge of a field or something like that can be really appealing. One of the things I want to try out is just to see how closely we can space them together, because obviously if you're going to keep a large stack of silage bales, you might want it in a as little footprint as you possibly can, or along a particular length. So that'll be interesting to see. But first of all, I'll just either speed up or cut a little bit here until we've cut a few swaths of grass and got some bales on the go as well. Righto, we got 4 nice big swaths here. I think that will be enough for our testing. We can use 2 swaths for round bales and 2 for square bales. So obviously got some very healthy grass on this map here. So I'll just hop over and start making some round bales now. Okie dokie, last of the round bales. It's created a whole heap. I'll just see if I can collect enough grass here to make the last one as well, just to finish it off reasonably tidy. Even if we eat into this next swath just a tiny bit here. Good. That'll do for round bales. So that's us coming to the end of making the square bales. We've got a decent amount of both types now. That means we can actually finally now get on with testing the actual DLC package here. So that's good. We'll start with the round bales. There's quite a few options there already, so we'll stick with that. We'll use the John Deere for our round baler work. We'll just pop over to the shop. So one of the things you can obviously do if you are getting lost in what's in the DLC is you can simply go to the brand selection here instead and go for it. like this. So obviously there are these animal feeders and various other bits and pieces as well. So for the round bales, we're going to have a look at the little wrapper here first. You can choose a foil color. I'll go for the green one, and we'll buy that one. And we'll pick that one up, wherever it is. There it is. Take it over to the field. We're really just going to do 1 or 2 bales or silage like this. Obviously this was already in FS17 with the Coon DLC, I think, and we've had one of the Giants mods for bale wrapper, or I think it was part of the base game. Well, to be honest, I can't remember right now, but we've had bale wrappers in game before, so probably not a huge degree. So I'm gonna unfold it. Do I need to do anything else? Let's have a look, see. There we go. I like how the little arm squeezes it as you lift it up. And usually these things, I always found them to be a little bit, well, slow, which is fair enough. I mean, it does take a while to wrap a bale, but you just tend to have to be quite patient to be able to do. Imagine you had to do the entire length of this field now, like this. That would be a very long process. So we're just going to unload it. The good thing is it does stand vertically. So we'll do one more here. And obviously while it's wrapping, we can kind of line it back up if we want them to be closer together. But yeah, I mean, it looks nice. It's a nice model. The animations look good. There's a nice amount of detail on the model. Everything seems to be working tickety-boo. So, whoop, got a bit close there. Almost got a bale on the face. So there we go. That is the bale wrapper. It works very nicely. I guess it's similar to the Ursus one, but obviously it isn't the Ursus one. There is one thing I just want to check, because obviously with the ability to wrap multiple bales, I'm just going to bring up the help panel here. You're able to kind of open up those bales, and I do wonder. No, okay. So when you make individual silage bales, they are, as per usual, they stay wrapped in plastic until you drop them into a feed mixer or something like that. That's fair enough. That's how the base game has worked for a long time. But I was just wondering if you would be able to cut open these bales as well, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Or John Deere, as it is in this case. So, next part of the package, we are gonna pick up one of the autostackers. Try that out. If I'm not mistaken, there are 2 round bale autostackers. So we've got this one, the RBM 2000 for $50,000, and that can handle 24 bales. And then we have the RMB Pro 2000, which can also handle 24 bales. They have the same identical horsepower requirements. I think it's all to do with the lifting arm. So we'll have a look at the cheaper one first. Now, I don't know if we have 48 bales on the field, but we'll give it a shot. So this one looks a little bit similar to the Ursus one, except of course the Ursus one could only handle 8 bales, which I think has been one of the big points of frustration maybe for many players, certainly for me. In addition to having to stop and unload bales when you do round ones, having a very limited auto stacker did mean that doing round bales compared to square bales felt like a lot more of a chore. But so let's get this guy unfolded and pop one in. So it's obviously got like a double trough here. I'll try and stick to one side so we don't use up all the bale. So if we make it down to the bottom, we haven't filled it yet, we'll stop there. But oh, makes a kind of triple stack like that. I like it. Oh, and then much like the Ursus, there's a little delay as the first stack travels down a bit. So the next one will be ready just quickly, but then there'll be a little delay as the stack is being pushed down. So as long as we don't race off too fast. I like how the arm actually adjusts the length of the bit. Now technically speaking, of course, we ought to be picking these bales up the other way around, side on, but it doesn't seem to matter, just as it hasn't done for any other stackers previously. But I like this. This is fantastic. Wow, you know, we've already exceeded what you would have been able to use the old Ursus stacker. We're now on 10 bales, 11, 12 coming in. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna fill this one because we're just gonna kind of keep it on one row, and then we'll try out the other auto stack on the next row. But this is cool. I like it. Looks good. It works well. We'll pick up that one, and then we'll take the last one down here, basically. Then we'll take them down to the other end of the field. Once that one's in place, we'll put it back into, let's see, transporting position like that. That's 15 bales stacked up there. Nice. So we'll unload them down the corner of the field because we'll need them when we're gonna try and make a length of silage bales. It's a good looking trailer. I like it. Obviously I'm using a fairly high horsepower tractor here, but I think, I mean the limit was 130, so even some of the small tractor categories that ought to be able to pull this on, although I imagine with a small tractor at the front of this fairly sizable trailer, it might look a bit odd. This looks reasonably balanced with the larger John Deere. So over here somewhere, just onto the grass bit itself, we'll look at unloading the bales. This is the other bit I'm a bit curious about. What is the unload operation? I guess it's vertical like usual, but oh, maybe not. So we're unloading here. Oh, fantastic. Finally. It's been an ongoing frustration of mine that auto stackers always just drop the massive vertical tower. I really like this. This is so much better. Just one other test, just out of curiosity. See if we can pick up the wrap. Yep, that works, no problem as well. Excellent. That's good. So conceptually, if you wanted to make a really tight stack of silage bales along the edge of a field, this could be an option before you even go into the tube wraps and stuff like that. Simply individually wrap them and then stack them up and make a sort of a long row like this. Excellent. We will try the other round bale stacker as well. Like I said, it's the RBM Pro instead, so I don't know, maybe it's only for pro players. I don't know, I'm still able to buy it, so it must be available for everybody. Right, here we go. So it was quite a bit more expensive, the RBM Pro, I think. Let's have a little look here. Yeah, so we got this one, the RBM 2000, and then there's the RBM Pro 2000. It's got the same capacity, same horsepower requirements, but it's $22,000 more. So let's see. what do we get for $22,000 more? We get a funky arm, lifting arm. The lifting arm looks very different on this one. I think the rollers are a bit more detailed. Maybe I could be wrong. We'll have a look at the other one just when we head over to the field. And of course you get the word pro in the name of your machinery. It's always good. Okay, so got a few bales to do here, so we'll unload or unfold this, no, unload. Ah yeah, so it's more like a bale grabber that you would use with a front loader, kind of sitting on the arm here. It looks cool, so let's see how it looks from in cab if I pick one of these up. Right, it looks like this is intended for silage bales, to be honest, because it's got the gentle bit where you're not piercing the plastic, and because silage bales are usually positioned vertically. If you notice, when I drive up to a bale here, this one will flip into kind of a vertical position, much like a silage bale. So that's kind of my take on it, is that this Pro version here is really, if you were to wrap your silage bales individually, then you'd want to use this machine to avoid piercing the wrap and things like that. It's a really cool animation though when you bring it all together, and it's because otherwise it does the same thing as the other bale stacker. So I guess in real life this would be a kind of specialized piece of equipment designed specifically for when you're wrapping your bales and wanting to lift them like that. I don't know, I don't see any auto stackers around where I live in Scotland, so if anybody does know, drop a comment down below. And yeah, so even though it's a little bit late to be testing out the Anderson DLC and stuff like that, it's been out for a week. If you do like the test, please do at least hit the like button or think of subscribing. Overclock Gaming mainly does kind of story-driven content, or spends quite a bit of time on a map, so this video is a bit more unusual for this channel. But if you do like that, let me know. We could always do more kind of mod reviews and stuff. Right, so I've just noticed this feels a little bit slower. Not a huge amount, but just a tiny bit slower on, you know, the arm getting back into position, everything like that. So I don't think it's a big deal, but just worth noticing that if you're roughly driving at the same speed, I think compared between the two, the RPM 2000 is perhaps just a smidge faster. But like I say, this one would be ideal if you are wrapping your bales individually. I think that would look really cool, because then you can also build this sort of pyramid shaped stack all the way down the length of your field, for example. Imagine that with individually wrapped bales. It just would have been nice if you could then also open up those individually wrapped bales. But nevertheless, so just out of curiosity, I want to see how closely I can get these other guys pushed to the other ones. So imagining that we did want to put these along the edge of the field kind of thing. So if I back up a bit here, like that, maybe I need to leave enough space. So we'll unload here, we see. It's not gonna be, yeah, that's not really lined up perfectly. But okay. Yeah, with a little bit of practice, I can see how that could work. So that could be quite cool. I mean, that's certainly a way I've seen farms around here are stacking their silage bales. Sort of along the edge of a field, pretty much in this type of formation, 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and then just making a kind of long tower. Excellent. So I'm gonna hop over into the case here. We have some square bale stackers to try out as well, so we'll give that a shot. Alright, so those are the round ones. So we do have this. This can do 16 bales, the Stack Pro 7200. It's expensive, 89,000. 175 horsepower. And then we got the TSR 3450, which can do 14 bales. And needs only 130 horsepower and it's 57,000. So, yeah, I don't know, 2 bales extra for quite a lot of money. I mean, right now we're testing them both, so we'll get this. We'll start with the more basic one first, the cheaper one, the TSR 3450. It's curious to see those tines kind of sticking out on the back. I hope you wouldn't normally be driving on the road like that. That looks a bit dangerous. So let's get this thing unfolded. So again, it's got more like a sort of, I don't know, almost gentle pinching, grabbing arm, and lifts them. It lifts them that way around. That's quite interesting. So that does actually line up with if you were to kind of follow a row behind a baler. You don't have to come side on anything like that. Whereas when you collect round bales, you really ought to almost drive perpendicular to the direction that you've been baling in. So much like the round bale, just a slight lag as bales are shifted to the back. Oop. And if I can drive straight, we'll pick up the next one here. Okay, we didn't quite fill it at the end, but we're getting pretty close. Wow, okay, look at that. Look at how it's actually hanging right out at the back end. I like that, and we haven't used up like a ridiculous amount of space. Like, one of the things I never really liked about the Artisan autostacker was that almost like the front third of the trailer was taken up completely with mechanisms and stuff like that. So I always felt like you were only driving with a half load, really. This, on the other hand, this feels like you're driving with a full load and then a bit almost. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. So the next question is how it's going to unload. We'll find out down here. We'll do it next to the round bales, but just a little off. So here we go. Unload. It'll be interesting to see what this turns into. Unload here. Excellent. So very, very similar to what I mentioned before, insofar as it's not making a giant tower anymore. And I really like that, because very often before, if you used an auto stacker but you wanted to, you know, if you're playing with seasons, anything like that in FS17, and you wanted to put your bales inside a shed, it was really awkward. I mean, you could unload them outside and use a telehandler, but you had this sort of really tall tower associated with things, and you know, you'd end up having bales sort of falling on the ground everywhere, which was quite awkward. So I like the fact that they're now doing these sliding unloads instead, because it'd be much easier to then move the bales into a shed, for example. But let's try the other square bale stacker as well. So this is the Pro version, which can hold 2 more bales, apparently, but costs quite a lot more. Quite curious to see what it is. I mean, it looks quite different actually. Let me just hop out and actually have a look here, because this is it's a very fancy piece of machinery, and the supports and everything like that. Cool. I'd say if you're totally just focused on functional aspects of playing Farming Simulator, and you really want to look after your money, I'd say right now it looks to me like the cheaper of the square bale autostackers is going to do pretty much the same, with the exception of, you know, 2 bales. But this one kind of looks cool though. So let's get the arm unfolded. The arm looks very similar to the other one. It's actually more the deck. So the sort of loading deck on the previous one there, it was all red, looked a bit more basic. This one looks almost space age in design and everything like that. And I guess this is just gonna lift things up, yeah, a bit like the Artisan used to do. That's why we got more space up the front there. That's cool. So we'll just try and load the last line of bales here with this stacker, and we'll bring them down, and then we'll be able to try and move on to the wrappers. Okay, so we are basically at the end here, and it's time to unload this one. Now this one's a lot more similar to the Artisan autostackers, so I am wondering whether this one is going to do a vertical unload instead, which I think might be the case, but let's have a look. Yes, so that's fine. It's actually really nice to have both options, I think. Personally, like I said, I think I kind of prefer the lower drop off, but on the other hand, if you have a really big shed, you can actually manage to reverse this in or something like that. This is brilliant. So you can make a stack that's 8 bales high with a capacity of 16. So now you got both options inside this DLC, which is pretty neat. Excellent. So now we can move on to try out the wrappers. There are a couple of other things in the Anderson DLC, obviously other than bale handling. There is animal feed, and there is the bio baler. I'm not going to try those out in this particular episode, but if you like this video, then I will make one where we look at the animal feeders and the bio baler as well. So we're going to try the IFXN 720 extractor, which is the one that does round bales only. We'll leave the foil color at white. So I think the idea, if I understand correctly, is you want to place it roughly where you would want your stack to start, with the sort of offloading mechanism facing that way. So let's say we wanted it to be here at the edge of the field. I'll put it down here, and then I'd get rid of my tractor over here. Then I would hub over and jump into the machine. Oh, sounds like the Mahindra. So when I unload it, that basically just takes away the tow bar, and that is good. So I just need to quickly get hold of a telehandler, and then we'll be able to load some bales onto this thing. Okay, so we got ourselves a telehandler. First one here is for round bales only, so just gonna pick up a round bale to begin with. See if we can, let's pick up the one. I'm just going to stay in cab view first, see how this works. I come down and I have to load it from this side here, where the warning triangle is, so back in. I guess I have to turn on the engine first. Let's just try it without even bothering about that. See if it does something. Oh, it looks like it's taken hold of it. Let me just see. Yeah, so the arms have sort of gripped it, but start the engine. Is that gonna make a difference? Right, can I get back out of this again now? There we go. Okay. So maybe you don't have to put it in quite as far as that, but here we go. First bale getting half wrapped. I guess it's waiting for the next one. So let's pick up another couple. I'm curious to see if this would work in terms of dropping off one side, whether it kind of automatically feeds it in and leaves the other one on, or whether it's going to be a little bit more fiddly than that. So let's see, like that. That might not work. Oh, it did. So it's fed one in. And that means we can simply wait here for the next one. Now the tube isn't quite touching the ground yet, so the wrapper hasn't started moving per se. There we go. Oh, it actually just drops in if you bring it quite close to the area there. So that's it, wrapping it up now. I'm just gonna hop out and see if it's reaching the... Okay, so it's just starting to reach the ground, so if we bring over a few more, it's not super critical about, oh, tree getting in the way there. So let's see if I just sort of bring that in, drop it down a bit like that. There we go. That's nice. Oh, it seems like I'm pulling the whole thing now. There's obviously some kind of trigger point that you kind of gotta hit for it to accept the bale. Because now I'm dropping the other one off. Oh, okay. Not the end of the world, but a little bit fiddly. Let's just pick this one up as well. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no maximum on how long you can make the roll. I don't know, maybe that'll be a new competitive element in Farming Simulator, who can make the longest one. I'd like to see somebody make one the full length of this field. That would certainly be an achievement. Okay, we'll do one more and then see if we can close it off. Don't think there's much point in trying to do all the bales here. I'll just take forever instead. There we go. That one just dropped in. And now you can... It actually looks more like the tube is getting pushed backwards rather than the engine moving forward, but let's just hop out and have a look here. I guess, can we move it? I guess not. Wheels are just spinning. That's fair enough, it is quite heavy. I'm just gonna have to bring up the help screen here to see how I left trigger to unload bales. I'm using an Xbox controller, which is, it's looking like that. There we go. Pushing it off. There we go. I think maybe it's just the ground right here that's making the wheels spin, because it seems a little bit stuck. That's okay. We'll leave it here for now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bales, and we can now walk up. We can cut each individual bale like that, and we now got silage bales in Farming Simulator 19. That's pretty neat. Cool. Okay, we got one more to test now, and this is the hybrid extractor. Hybrid X extractor. It's not much more expensive than the other one, but it does both types of bales. I'll try and do black ones this time, just for fun. So before we start experimenting with 2 or more bales, we'll just pick up one here. So I got to figure out which way to feed them in. I assume they're going in sideways, like this, like the way I got it mounted on the Manitou here, but it looks like a very narrow fit when you look in here. You got to fit right in between the rollers. Oh, I'm pushing the whole thing now. There we go. Then it kind of drops in. There's obviously a particular zone you do have to hit, so don't lift it in too high, it looks like, because it's not going to recognize that. So maybe I should try and bring it in just right above the lip there instead. See if we can do that, because obviously there are these rollers to contend with. So yeah, it can do square bales, but it seems a little bit more awkward to do. So it seems the moment I let go of it with the telehandler, it reacts. So I'm not sure if the rolls on the side, the buffers on the side, they are actually collision. I think they are collision, although it just seems very, very tight when you're bringing it in. Okay, this time we're going to try with 2 bales like this. See what happens. I suspect one's going to fall in and one is going to sit on top. The only question is whether it's then kind of automatically going to fall in afterwards. That'll be nice, because then you could just bring over 2 at a time. So let's see if I just unload them here. Okay, so that's one feeding in and kind of messing up the other one. And then once that falls back, no. Maybe if you're a little bit more precise, it would work. There we go. Leaned it a little nudge. So I think if you do it quite straight on, it could work, but it's not an absolute guarantee that you can stack 2 effortlessly every time. We'll try it one more time with 2, just to see what it's like. But I like these pieces of equipment. They could definitely be cool. Here on Overcourt Gaming, we haven't really done a Farming Simulator 19 cattle farm. We've still got the South Mountain Creamery farm going on 17. But I could definitely see that when we bring cattle over onto 19, this will be a really valuable tool. Potentially, instead of doing big silage bunkers, could be wrapping bales like that, probably for perhaps a smaller operation. I guess if you're doing really large scale cattle, this is a lot of work for what it is. Yeah, it does kind of get stuck up there, needs a bit of nudging, so I'm not 100% sure about how efficient that is, but there you can at least see it looks like the machine's got a bit better grab off the ground up here. So if I hop into it now and try and... no. So we're gonna push this off. And there we go. And then once I unload, I can kind of move again. Just gotta remember which way is front and which way is back, obviously. So right now I'm actually reversing it. So as long as you remember that, it's fine. There we go. That is a very cool piece of machinery. I wonder how it's gonna look when it's worked a lot, where the dirt's gonna settle in on this one. Guess we can find out. So now we have a nice stack of bales, and similar to previously, we can simply open them up like that. Now, since we are here, I just want to check. I assume, but I don't know, if the last bale that's still wrapped in the stack, whether that is now open to the elements. So if I pick this one up, are we going to see open silage on the side? Or are we going to see wrap? We're going to see wrap. Yeah, it is still wrapped. Okay, that's nice. So it's not like you feel like you're opening it up to the elements and potential rot and stuff like that. And we have silage bales. Fantastic. So that was my little test of the Anderson baling side of things. If you like, let me know, and we'll have a look at the animal feeders and everything else. But for now, thank you very much from Overcord Gaming. See you again soon.